Deltarune is a game. Crazy, huh? I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're familiar with Deltarune's common mechanics. It's very basic RPG elements, fighting with party members, being able to attack, using items to heal party members, or in general, just to gain some boost. There are unique elements such as magic and sparing. However, Deltarune does something incredibly unique. Acting. How? Well, that's the point of the video. Let's find out!
Unique interactions.
This is my personal number one reason on why Act is great. It makes every single interaction with enemies feel unique. Let's look at the regular enemies. Sure, usually it tends to be just click the right action and now you can spare them. However, I feel like there's more beyond that. When you play a game, you usually see these basic enemies as just the thing to kill. I would even argue Undertale does this, because it's very simplistic compared to Deltarune. But when Deltarune does it, it makes you feel that the enemy's a character. It's not just something to kill, it's like an actual character that has dialogue. And that is one of my praises for acting. Unique interactions brings out dialogue from the characters, and even changes their sprite if they're ready to be spared. This shows to the player how the character acts. Get it? Anyways. Rudin is the example enemy I had in mind. When you lecture Rudin, he says, "Yawn, what? Okay." This to the player shows that the lecture that Chris gave to Rudin wasn't something he even paid attention to. He just listened, maybe to get you to shut up, maybe because he's bored or something else. I know what you're wondering. Okay, so Rudin is an enemy you see a couple times anyways. Why does this fighting interaction matter? I know I'm probably sounding repetitive, so I'll move on soon. But because this plants a seed into the player's mind on who Rudin is. Sure, he isn't the Roaring Knight, or Susie, but he also isn't a nobody. When you see Rudin again, you wouldn't go like, "Oh yeah, these guys exist." You would go like, "Hey, it's that enemy that doesn't care for lectures. That might be small, miniature even, but it's still a personality trait you know from that character." Well, I hope I proved my point here, because we need to move on to the next section.
Figuring it out.
At the start of the previous section, I said how acting is usually just clicking the right option. But when I typed this out during 7:20 PM on Tuesday, June 24th, 2026, I was imagining you only do that because you've already played the game before. A lot of people, including myself, agree that a game like Deltarune is better in your first playthrough. I think one thing that really adds to the player experience is the different options you could pick. Obviously, you learn which is the fastest one to pick, so whenever you refight the enemy, you'll know next time. But that is not the point of this section. The point is that the player essentially gets rewarded for curiosity. For trying out all the different options, you get new dialogue, and you get a personality trait for the enemy you're fighting. Again, this can tie back to the previous section. And that thing I said where you learn which are the fastest ones to pick, that is also a reward for your curiosity. You learn that clicking this option can slowly increase the mercy meter. I don't know the name of this, so I'm just going by the wiki. While the other one can maximize it, but with a little minigame. Wonder what I'm talking about? Let's look at Weirwire. Weirwire has two options, Jiggle Jiggle and Throw Wire. Jiggle Jiggle guarantees that one Weirwire's mercy meter increases by 50%. While Throw Wire uses Susie's turn, you're able to hit more than one Weirwire. And if the X's are hit for all of them, their mercy meter increases by 50%. Now you know what those two do. Actually, I think I have a better place for this example.
Circumstantial choice.
An issue I have with a lot of other games is lack of meaningful impact. What I mean by this is that once you find out the best choice, you just stick to it. It feels like there's no need to pick other choices unless you're giving yourself a challenge or you're bored. Deltarune does this, I've said this twice in the previous sections. Do the fastest actions and you can move on. But honestly, it might not always be like that. Listen, I'm not the biggest Deltarune gamer. I've only played the entire thing once and I've replayed the earlier chapters more than 3 and 4. Because of this, I tend to have a little bit of skill issue. But this is great because it ends up showing off acting even more. Let's look at Weirwire's act options, a guaranteed increase for only one enemy and a skill-based increase for multiple enemies. Let's say I use Throw Wire and hit both of the enemies, so their mercy meter increases by 50%. But I mess up and take a lot of damage during the attacks. Now I need to use my items to heal. but I can use Susie and Rousey to heal, while Chris jiggles one of the werewires to get their mercy meter to 100%. Then next turn, I can make Chris jiggle the other one, and Susie and Rousey spare both of them. This is why the section is called Circumstantial Choice. The impact the player has on the enemy can vary from player to player because there's certain circumstances that happen to them, in this case taking too much damage that you need to prioritize healing, allows the player to take a unique route, a weird route even. The player has to adapt, that's what the whole section is. Next section.
Fits right in.
This will likely be the shortest section. I want a smaller conclusion, plus it's more of an extension of the previous section. I implied it in the last section, but while Act is very unique, it honestly doesn't feel out of place from the combat system. You have to adapt because the combat system causes you to adapt. The Jubble fight is something I feel a lot more people can relate with. Unless you're relatively good at the game, Javel's fight might cause you taking a lot of damage. This causes a chain reaction if you're going for the pacifist version of the fight. Quick note, I think I know how the Javel fight works. What I say next might be a little inaccurate. I think just letting the fight progress regularly keeps it going, but I'm not too sure. If you know more than me, let me know in the comments. Also, subscribe. I want to start making more non-Danny's World content and leave Roblox. If you want me to leave those behind, and to get more Deltarune content, subscribe! The pacifist version requires for all party members to be alive. This makes you have to heal them if they're too low or revive them if they died. But since you're healing them, then you can't use hypnosis. See how acting fits right in? It's another responsibility that the player needs to juggle. It's not overpowered, it's not entirely ignorable, it's an actual choice that can matter to the player. Player agency for a game where the narrative is that you don't have choice. Choice can happen. That's what makes Act so unique. It isn't just your average menu option. It's a menu option that asks the player what they want to do. And that's why Act fits right in with Deltarune. Hi, welcome to the end of the video. I really had fun making this video, so I beg for you to subscribe. Well, mostly. I said it earlier, but I guess I'm considered a Danny's World or Roblox YouTuber. However, I dislike this label. I've been wanting to get out of that content, so if you like this video, subscribe for more. Like the next video to expand the reach, as well as hyping it if you're on mobile. I hope you guys enjoyed Chapter 5 of Deltarune. I haven't played it yet because it isn't even out yet as of the script writing process of this video. Also, I haven't seen a lot of videos covering the gameplay stuff of Deltarune, so if you want to see gameplay be talked about, this is the right channel. Thank you.